Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is going to be about the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. If you want to call it Extreme Rules, well, there wasn't blood in the pay-per-view until the last match. And here's what went on as I'm doing this report on Monday. So stay tuned for other news in the Monday Night Raw report and spoilers for this week's partial matches for superstars. And here we go. Jacob Martin attended Sunday's Extreme Rules pay-per-view in Chicago, Illinois. I sent the following report. The Miz versus Santino Marella. He commented on the match, saying Miz actually got a lot of heat with a dueling really chance with the crowd. Well, this was the dark match that was on the network's YouTube account of WWE. However, when the match started, 95% of the crowd was with Santino. Kane versus Randy Orton. Everyone was actually pretty into the match, and it turned out that much better than expected. Orton got a huge pop during his entrance after he won. They commented on the Cody Rhodes versus Big Show. Almost everyone was in favor of Cody. The Big Show got major heat when he attacked Cody after the match, and when he came back again, he was booed even more, suggesting a heel turn, maybe. He also just walked out after making any interaction, so maybe it's a heel turn, maybe it's not, he's just getting pissed off. And maybe even a double turn, since Cody was actually slapping his hands on his way out. Shamus versus Daniel Bryan match. The guy commented, everybody was behind Bryan, even after he made fun of Chicago. It didn't bother me that much, so since the reporter is from Wisconsin. Shamus got booed pretty heavily. It was about 75-25 in favor of Bryan. The lack of AJ was disappointing, however. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho match. Not much to say there, other than a massive love for Punk throughout. This is his hometown. Just saying, Punk's sister is quite a good-looking lady, according to the guy. And afterwards, Punk got on his Facebook and sent the link to add his sister to your Facebook friends list. So you go to Facebook, go to Tommy R. Kerr, and you can probably see there if he accepted my friend's request. Nikki Bella versus Layla. Yeah, Layla took the place of an injured Beth Phoenix. Everybody was expecting Kharma to come out. Well, according to the reporter, everybody started "We Want Kharma" chant. In a section, I could actually hear it during the pay-per-view. And then seconds later, it was going throughout the arena. Just found out, was it ridiculous that Layla came out instead and wins the title? Not that anyone cared, though. And the guy took a bathroom break before the pay-per-view starts. He commented on the Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Huge pop for Lesnar and massive Money in the Bank heat for Cena. The crowd loved every punch by Lesnar and seemed really disappointed by Cena winning the match. The speech afterwards was really awkward. He just got manhandled for 15 minutes. And the guy said the best pops were Punk, Lesnar, Orton, and Bryan. Most heat was Cena, Big Show, and Jericho. And now for your actual pre-show results. Michael Cole and Matt Striker welcomed everybody to the show from ringside and ran through the matches. The Miz headed to the ring for his match with a mic in hand. And if you were trying to watch it online, YouTube was having issues during this pre-show live event. And basically, Miz headed to the ring, and he said he was in the preview match for Extreme Rules, and asked, really? Really? He said he was in the main event last year. He said he's not in a Falls Count Anywhere match or a street fight. Well, it's a dark match. It's not a pay-per-view. So Extreme Rules doesn't care in this match. Doesn't participate in the match. Okay. I don't care where you put me, Miz said, but because I will be the most talented, as the most talked about superstar of all time, people will be talking about me tomorrow. I will make this the most popular pre-show in WWE history. He said, wherever Miz is the place to be, and tonight, that's YouTube. He said he will win the U.S. title, and it will be the best moment in everyone's life. He also rallied against Chicago. He was about to deliver his awesome line, and Santino's music interrupted. Thank God. Good promo for The Miz. Granted, we've heard a lot of this crap before, and he hasn't backed it up. But showed good fire and continued to be the dynamic talker. The pre-show starts up, and the crowd rallied behind Santino early, following the Miz promo. After some back and forth action, Santino put away the Miz with the Cobra. Santino then retained the U.S. title in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. The outcome pleased the live crowd. It sounded like any other arena right now. They were hot for the pre-show match, but I haven't called any fun chants or anything out of the ordinary just yet. By the way, if you're wondering why this match wasn't on the pay-per-view preview channel, it's exclusive to YouTube and the WWE Facebook page. And even on the Facebook, it was having problems too. The announcers previewed the pay-per-view matches. Coleslaw said they expected over 15,000 fans to attend the pay-per-view. Backstage, even Teddy Long stood between Big Show and Cody Rhodes. And they had, if you're familiar with the Raw roulette wheel, well, they brought it to Extreme Rules. And the stipulations was with the spinning wheel. Eve took the credit for coming up with this innovative roulette wheel approach. She said she told Teddy to spin the wheel, which landed on tables match. Big Show laughed and said, "Good luck trying to get me through the table." Cody was flustered. "Teddy, this is all your fault," Cody said. Teddy asked what he did. "What did I do?" Kind of like a hurricane. "What was that? What's up with that?" A match that doesn't require a pinfall? More confident than ever that Cody gets the Intercontinental title back by some screw job. And I was right. At ringside, Striker and Cole agreed that the stipulation was unfair to Cody Rhodes. The announcer set up a video for Shamus versus Daniel Bryan match. A video recapped CM Punk versus Chris Jericho feud. A video recapped the Brock Lesnar and John Cena story. A graphic counted down the remaining 2 minute plus before the pay-per-view. Not much said there, and then the pay-per-view starts. The show opened up with a Brock Lesnar and John Cena video package. Narrator guy collected a check just for telling us that it's Extreme Rules and rules are meant to be broken. Michael Cole with Jerry Lawler and Booker T introduced the show. Coleslaw said that there were 14,817 fans in attendance. So I guess they were disappointed. Not getting 15,000. What the hell? We're only, 183 fans short of that. Okay, the first match was Kane versus Randy Orton in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The announcer spoke at ringside. Musician and Resistance Pro Wrestling's Billy Corgan was seated behind the announcers, for those that didn't know that. Kane threw an uppercut that knocked Orton to ringside to open the match. Kane grabbed a pipe from ringside, but Orton fought back and delivered the first shots with the pipe at 1 minute 10 seconds. Orton continued to work over Kane, and they battled into the section on the floor between the fans and on the main floor and the first level. The wrestlers traded punches until they made their way to the stage where Kane took control. They battled backstage into a room where the wrestlers who were not on the show were watching the pay-per-view backstage. Zack Ryder was among the wrestlers in the room. Ryder punched Kane only to have Kane choke him and throw him down. Orton took advantage of the distraction and regained control briefly, but Kane came back and scored a near fall with the referee way out of position. They fought their way back to inside the arena bowl. Orton got the better of the punch fest. Now at 11 minutes in, Orton went to ringside and grabbed a chair, which he jabbed into Kane's stomach and then slammed over his back. Once back inside the ring, Orton smiled and the crowd cheered. Orton hit Kane with several chair shots in the back. Kane rolled to ringside. Orton followed and slammed his head into the announcer's table. Orton pulled the announcer's table apart, but Kane recovered and grabbed him by the throat. Orton fired back to break it up, and then DDT Kane off the table for another near fall. Back inside the ring, Orton went for an RKO, but Kane avoided it. And chokeslammed Orton for a really good near fall. Kane sold it by showing frustration. Orton came back with a short time later and hit an RKO on a chair and pinned Kane in the ring. Randy Orton pinned him at the 16-minute 45-second match. Good WWE style brawl. The non-stop punching early grew tiresome, but they worked hard. The near fall for Kane's chokeslam was great. And the crowd was once again very pleased by the outcome. Those screw jobs. Here's hoping Orton gets to move on now. Backstage, John Laurinaitis told Eve that it was his first pay-per-view in charge of both Raw and SmackDown. And then she says it was a plan. She planned a surprise and called for Teddy Long, who wheeled in a cart with champagne while wearing a huge "Hello, my name is Teddy" sign on his jacket. Very similar to Mrs. Awesome sign. Laurinaitis and Eve toasted and were about to drink champagne together when Laurinaitis took a phone call. He noted that it was Triple H and said he was going to go somewhere more private so they could talk. Eve looked a little frustrated. Back in the arena, Brodus Clay, the dancers, and Hornswoggle made their entrance. There were actually some boos when the lights went out as part of their entrance. Vicky Guerrero did the "excuse me" routine after the dance's routine ended. Vicky introduced Dolph, who came out wearing a new sleeveless vest. The Funkasaurus hysteria appears to have died down considerably based on the crowd reaction. The boos weren't loud, but the lack of reaction to his entrance theme was telling Hornswoggle isn't helping. Meanwhile, the Chicago crowd loves Ziggler. Match number 2, Brodus Clay with the dancers and Hornswoggle versus Dolph Ziggler with Vicky Guerrero and Jack Swagger. There were loud Dolph chants, followed by the louder "Let's Go Ziggler" chants from what sounded like the young male demographics. Ziggler got most of the offense thanks to Swagger helping out. Brodus knocked Swagger off the apron late and came back with a battering ram headbutt, followed by the big splash for the win. In 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Squash match. Almost the same exact time that the dark match took. Go figure. That was a good pop for the finishing sequence, and with Brodus going over, the sequence nicely done, and the splash looks impressive because of Brodus Clay's size. More than anything, I think the Clay fans are ready for something new, and Hornswoggle wasn't what they had in mind. The announcers then set up the highlights of the wheel spinning from the pre-show that established the Big Show versus Cody Rhodes stipulation. .NET reader Michael Angus noted that Beth Phoenix will not be wrestling on the show, according to the WWE text service. Rather, Nikki Bella will face a mystery opponent. And I believe that's what Laurinaitis was told by Triple H when they were talking on the phone. Match number 3, Big Show versus Cody Rhodes in a tables match for the Intercontinental title. The table was set up in the corner early. Big Show tried to whip Cody into it, but Cody used it to set up the beautiful disaster kick. Fun spot there. Show went right back on the offensive. Later, with the table set up on the floor, Big Show tried to re-enter the ring right in front of it. Cody drop kicked Show's leg, and guess what? He lost balance, falls right through the table with one leg. and thus the referee saw it, and he's like, he didn't know what to do, and then calls for the bell afterwards. Like what was that supposed to happen? So Cody wins the Intercontinental title back in 4 minutes 35-second match. Another 4 minute 30-second match. After the match, Cody took the belt and celebrated. Momentarily, Show then speared him and chokeslammed him through a table. Wally Carbo. Michael Cole called for fines and suspensions for Show assaulting Cody. Show was about to leave, the fans chanted one more time. Show obliged by pressing Cody over his head and then throwing him through the table on the floor. Wow. A screwy, controversial finish with Show losing nothing other than the title by losing in the manner like he did. Cody regains the belt in a fluky manner, and the crowd was satisfied with Show destroying Cody afterwards. The press slam through the table on the floor was a pretty big bump, and Cody sold it big. The referees and the trainers helped him up afterwards. He walked out on his own power, and the young male fans chanted Cody's name afterwards. By the way, Show's facial expression when he put his foot through the table was awesome. It's like, what? I lost? Backstage, Matt Stryker was interviewing Daniel Bryan, who blamed Stryker and the teachers like him for the U.S. educational system decline. Bryan boasted that he's better than Shamus in every way imaginable. Bryan said the Chicagoans think they're the best crowd in the WWE universe, but they are like Shamus and that they are overrated and unoriginal. Bryan closes out the promo by asking whether he would regain the title and concluded with the Borgasms. Yeah. After Bryan walked away, an angry AJ was shown watching him on a monitor. All that work to turn the Chicago crowd against Daniel Bryan only to have him lead them into a Borgasm chant. Wow, that was strange. Good mic work, though. The AJ facial expression was interesting. Is she angry with him or obsessed with being with him? Then they showed a video recapping Shamus versus Daniel Bryan saga, which is match number 4. Shamus versus Daniel Bryan in a best out of 3 falls for the World Heavyweight title. Shamus wore an 18-second t-shirt. Cole noted that the match had already passed 18 seconds, by the way. Shamus hit a rolling senton for a near fall at 2 minutes 15 seconds. Shamus applied a Texas cloverleaf like hold, but Bryan reaches the ropes. Cole noted that 18 seconds was trending on Twitter. Bryan took control of the offense briefly. He dove onto Shamus at ringside, only to have Shamus catch him and drive him into the barricade, which looked vicious. There were dueling chants with the men rooting for Bryan and the women and kids apparently chanting for Shamus. Good back and forth action until about 11 minutes 30 seconds in the match. Shamus got the most punishing offense, particularly with the usual forearm to the chest. But Bryan had his flurries as well. Shamus got a couple more near falls. Bryan was setting up for a suicide dive. At 12 minutes 15 seconds, but Bryan caught him with a forearm shot that kept him inside the ring. With both men inside the ring now, Bryan went for the Borgasm lock repeatedly. Shamus managed to avoid it a few times, but Bryan shoved Shamus through the ropes, and his shoulder hit the ring post. Bryan followed up by ramming the shoulder. It kind of looked like he had after the match, he kind of looked like he had his arm. It was kind of like deformed, so that could be a possible injury. But we'll wait and see what happens on Raw or SmackDown for this week if he still has a malfunction in his arm. It looked kind of strange. Well, okay, back to it. Bryan followed up with ramming his shoulder into the post twice to weaken it, and then applied the Borgasm lock, which Cole was quick to point out. that Bryan kicked Shamus in the shoulder repeatedly and ignored the referee's count. Well, it's Extreme Rules. There are no rules. Well, Shamus won the first fall by disqualification in 14 minutes 15 seconds. Now get this. Well, Extreme Rules. Thought they threw the rules out the window. So he wins the Extreme Rules and by the first fall by disqualification. Bryan smiled as Lillian Garcia named Shamus the winner by DQ. Cole did a good job of explaining the strategy while Booker mumbled about God knows what. Bryan applied the Borgasm lock in 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Shamus crawled toward the ropes. Lawler questioned how he hadn't tapped out already. Bryan yelled Borgasm frequently. Shamus was unresponsive, so the referee called for the bell. Like he didn't tap out. Daniel won the second fall via referee stoppage at 16 minutes 45 seconds. Lillian Garcia announced that Bryan the winner by submission, even though he never actually submitted. Well, so there's another one, another messed up, screwed up finish. Well, even though it makes it 1-1. And Bryan led his Borgasm chance again while Shamus fans chanted, "No!" The crowd reaction for this match is great. Probably 60-40 in favor of Bryan and the Borgasm chance. The match has been excellent so far, other than the screwed up finishes. It was refreshing not to see the usual heel wins, the first fall formula. And the approach they used was perfectly logical and made Bryan look like a strategic heel. Alright, then Shamus got to his knees and assured the trainers and the referee that he could continue. Once the referee restarted the match at 19-minute mark, Bryan charged at Shamus, who blasted him with a bro kick. Shamus slowly made the cover and Bryan kicked out at the last moment. Later, Bryan blasted Shamus with a kick to the side of the head and got a near fall on his own at 20 minutes 35 seconds. With Bryan on the ropes, Shamus hit him with several punches, yet stopped to sell the shoulder injury. Shamus went up for a move, but Bryan got better of it and shoved him down. Bryan went for a top rope headbutt, only to have Shamus move. Bryan recovered first and went for a running drop kick in the corner, but Shamus moves. Shamus pounded on his own chest, and hit the bro kick to win the third fall and retain the title. Shamus defeated Bryan to retain the title in 22 minutes and 55 seconds. It took nearly 13 months to get the type of Shamus versus Bryan match that the fans were hoping for. Was it worth the wait? Bryan was strategic and looked strong in defeat, while Shamus looks like a badass for coming back from a bad shoulder. And here's hoping we see a lot more of those two guys in the near future. Then they showed an air for Over the Limit. The next pay-per-view is Over the Limit, which takes place on May the 20th. Randy Orton was featured was the featured player in the video. Backstage segment, Santino Marella laughed and called for the Great Khali, who was standing beside him, and joined him as they watched a pair of enhanced wrestlers on a monitor. And this was an added match. One of the, I think, 3 added matches. Ryback versus Aaron Relic and Jay Hatton in a handicap match. Before the match, the Jobbers cut a promo on how 2 is better than 1. One of the Jobbers kept saying 2 is greater than 1, 2 is greater than 1, 2 is greater than 1. What did he do? Think he was a math teacher? Well, even announcers were telling him to shut up, for God's sakes. Ryback came out to a very, very little reaction and received Goldberg chants from the crowd. Smaller Jobber kicked Ryback, who no-sold it. Ryback roughed him up and then dragged him to the corner and tagged in the other Jobber. Ryback destroyed him with a clothesline, and as the Goldberg chants continued, Ryback hit his finishing moves on both men and pinned them simultaneously. Khali and Santino were shown watching backstage again. So, that match lasted 1 minute 50 seconds. The other jobber's name was Jay Hatton, by the way. Jay Hatton and Aaron Relic. Crappy promos that they gave. Ryback played the dominator role while the live crowd nailed it with the Goldberg chants. The fans just aren't impressed by him destroying jobbers. And his character is supposed to have a futuristic. What's so futuristic about him? Nothing. And it's not helping him to get reaction from at this point. Perhaps it will change over time. I don't think the babyface is laughing at the scrubs. His beating is helping. They should be more impressed by his domination rather than laughing at his opponents. Matt Striker interviewed CM Punk inside the locker room. Punk talked about the Chicago street fight and says he gets to beat Jericho in front of his family and in front of 20,000 of his closest friends. Well, I think he lied because there was only 14,800 so many. That seemed unnecessary. Punk didn't really have much to say, and I would have saved the first appearance for his entrance. By the way, the mystery opponent for Nikki Bella has tweeted about it. We had details on the site about this on Tuesday, but I won't spoil it there for those who don't like spoilers. A video that was brought to us by Jerichoholics Anonymous set up the WWE Championship match, which was match number 6, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho in a street fight for the WWE Championship. Ring announcer Justin Roberts stressed that there are no DQs or no countouts, and the only way to win is by pinfall or submission. Punk wore a t-shirt that read, drug-free on the front and poison-free on the back. He gave a bandana to his sister at ringside, and Cole noted that Punk's mother was also in attendance. Jericho wore jeans and boots, as it's a street fight, Chicago street fight. And the jeans and the knee pads on top of his jeans, yada, yada, yada. Punk went on the offensive early and threw 2 chairs inside the ring. He grabbed a kendo stick and looked like the love child of Raven, and just incredible in his outfit. The crowd chanted, EC Dub, EC Dub. Jericho went on the offense and worked over Punk at ringside. He pulled the padding back from the barricade right in front of the Punk's sister. She yelled, come on, Punk. Jericho got in Punk's sister's face. She slapped him. Jericho went after his sister, but Punk recovered and went aggressively after Jericho. Punk went for a pile driver on the floor, but Jericho backdropped him from the reversal and slammed the television monitor over his back. Later, Punk stumbled a bit coming off the ropes, and Jericho hit him with a kendo stick. Yeah, he actually slipped off the ropes whenever Jericho hit him with a stick. Jericho taunted Punk about his sister, and he pulled out a can of beer and poured it over Punk's head. Let's have another one, Jericho said while grabbing another beer from underneath the ring. Wow, hot beer. Punk regained control, and the master of the Spinneroonie told the viewers that Jericho spent too much time showboating. At 14 minutes 35 seconds in the match, Jericho tripped up Punk on the top rope. As he cracked himself, Jericho went for a superplex. Punk fought that off, and Jericho took a back bump off the second rope. Crowd cheered as Punk went to the top rope and followed up with a top rope elbow. Dropped for a near fall. At 15 minutes 45 seconds, Jericho came back briefly, but Punk recovered and blocked his Lion's Halt attempt. Punk put him in a position for the GTS, but Jericho slipped out and clotheslined Punk. Jericho ran Punk into a chair that was stuck between the ropes and rolled him up for a near fall. And then right here was a Let's Go Punk chant that started it but didn't gain momentum. Jericho hit the code breaker at 17 minutes 55 seconds. He followed up with a short time later with the Walls of Jericho. No Lion Tamer yet. Punk crawled to the corner. Cole quickly pointed out that the referee couldn't force Jericho to break the hold due to the nature of the match. Punk grabbed a fire extinguisher and then used it to break the hold after Jericho dragged him back to the middle of the ring. Yeah, he didn't use he used the spray part, not the actual can. the canister. And then Punk slammed the extinguisher canister into Jericho's gut. Jericho tumbled to the floor, and Punk followed. Punk did a repeat flow with the extinguisher, and then kicked the side of Jericho's head, which knocked him onto the Spanish announce table. And the crowd roared in anticipation. Punk went to the top rope and nearly fell, but he kept his balance and then hit the top rope elbows on Jericho through the table. Punk rolled Jericho back into the ring and went for a cover, but Jericho kicked out at 2. Punk applied a kind of device submission hold. Jericho grabbed a kendo stick and slammed it over Punk's head to break the hold. The fans chanted, "This is awesome!" Well, at 24 minutes 50 seconds, Jericho hoisted up Punk for his own finishing move. Jericho boasted that he's the best in the world and went for the move. Punk avoided it and kicked Jericho and hit the GTS instead and scored a clean pin. The camera cut to Punk's sister clapping at ringside. Punk dove onto the crowd by his family members. But there was a spot in this match where Punk had actually did the walls of Jericho on Jericho himself. And the match ended at 24 minutes and 50 seconds. First 10 minutes dragged, and the crowd was not nearly as hot as expected to be. Fortunately, the last 10 minutes of the match were very good, and the crowd had something to rally behind. Don't get me wrong, the first 10 minutes definitely set things up and played an important part of the match. It's just that this was far from Punk versus Cena atmosphere. I didn't expect it to be that insane, but I did expect the crowd to be hotter early on. Overall, though, it was a strong, hard-hitting street fight match. That's right up there with the Daniel Bryan versus Shamus for the best of the night thus far. I'm curious to see where they go with the Jericho feud from here, following yet another pay-per-view loss. Backstage, Beth Phoenix told the Bellas that she wanted the match. Eve showed up and said that Beth did not receive the medical clearance. Nikki questioned who her opponent was. Eve told her not to worry and said it wasn't Kharma. The Bellas breathed a sigh of relief and left the picture and headed to the ring. When the Bellas got to the ring, Brie boasted about how the title is back where it belongs. And if you're not familiar with the Bellas contract, it ended last night. So it would not be a good idea to have them leave as one of them to leave as champion. But they would have to have a contract restriction, a renegotiation, yada yada yada. And they have other business outside of wrestling for the next 2 weeks. As I mentioned in the last couple of weeks about them, their autograph signings and what have you. Well, match number 7, Nikki Bella versus with Brie Bella versus Layla for the WWE Divas Championship. The crowd wasn't exactly hot for Layla's surprise. Layla got in some offense and kicked Brie off the apron, but Nikki took advantage of the distraction to hit her from behind. Later, the Bellas did the twin magic, but Layla hit a neck breaker, which was a hair pull stunner type of move, very similar to Victoria, who's now in TNA, and got the move and pinned her to win the match in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. So, Layla, congratulations, you're the new Divas Champion. Wow. So no Kharma tonight? Well, it was rumored that it could either be one or the two, so if it wasn't Kharma, that was only left. Okay, perhaps they were saving it for Raw? As for the match? Crowd wanted Kharma real bad and didn't seem to care about Layla coming back. Maybe the Bellas will protest since the illegal woman was pinned, which would actually be pretty funny considering how many times they've done the twin magic crap. By the way, Kharma followed up on Twitter by writing, "Never said it would be me punishing people tonight. I'm watching from home." A video package set up the Brock Lesnar versus John Cena main event. There were dueling chants as normal. We want Cena, Cena sucks. We want Cena, Cena sucks. You know how that goes. Brock Lesnar made his entrance to his WWE theme. His old WWE theme. He came out wearing his new MMA ring gear, black and kind of silverish white shorts, and his T-shirt with MMA. Like I said, his black shirt and his MMA shorts, MMA gloves, like Undertaker was done before, and he wore a mouth guard. John Cena made his standard entrance. He had a chain and a padlock around his neck rather than the dog tags. And your main event was the Extreme Rules match. They went right at it, MMA style, with Lesnar taking control of the match for like 12 to 15 minutes, in my opinion. They got to their feet, and Lesnar tagged Cena with a clothesline. Cena was bleeding big time for the top of the head. Cena applied a chin lock. Brock escaped. The ref kept them apart while the trainer tended to the cut on Cena's head, which drew a lot of boos. He kept wiping his head with his towel. Brock did mug shots for the fans. A replay showed that an elbow from Lesnar opened up the big cut on Cena's head and not the fist, as I was telling my buddies. It was the elbow, which they finally agreed. And they started the match again, and Lesnar took Cena down again and fired away with repeated punches and a knee to the side. Lesnar shoved Cena out of the ring and to the floor with his foot. Referee Charles Robinson went to ringside to check on Cena. Brock stood in the ring and smiled while striking a fighter's pose again. Cena made his way back in at ringside. Back in the ring, the trainer stepped in again to attend the cut. This has to be done. Cole said on commentary. They started again, and this time Lesnar got up for the Attitude Adjustment. But Lesnar avoided it and suplexed Cena instead. Which is not the Attitude Adjustment, it's the F5. Moments later, Cena hit Lesnar with a repeated elbow to the side of the head. Cena shoulder blocked Lesnar, who backed into the referee and took a bump to the floor. Lesnar came back. The dueling Cena chant started again. Lesnar punched Cena, and as Cena was selling, Lesnar wiped some of the blood on his glove and then on his own tongue, and then on his chest. He might hear about that one. Well, at 5 minutes 55 seconds, Lesnar applied the arm hold on Cena, who was holding by yelling in pain. Lesnar whipped Cena's shoulder first into the turnbuckle. Brock threw Cena to the ringside and did his pre-fight dance in the ring before going after him again. As Brock was roughing up Cena, they showed the referee bump again. With Cena back in the ring, Lesnar grabbed Cena's chain from the corner and wrapped it around his fist. He smiled, but then dropped the chain on the mat when he got back in the ring. Lesnar caught Cena with knee to the gut and wrapped the chain around Cena's leg and motioned for him to stand up. Lesnar said when Cena did get to his feet, Lesnar ran the ropes and clotheslined him. Lesnar took Cena's legs with the chain and hung him from the legs on the ring post as he was outside the ring and with his body hanging outside the ropes. Lesnar took his shots at Cena, who cried out in agony. Lesnar dropped Cena to the ground. Lesnar walked over and looked at the referee. Cena got back to his feet and hit Lesnar with a few punches, but Lesnar grabbed him and whipped him into the stairs. Lesnar then picks up the referee, Charles Robinson, by his belt with one hand and throws him back inside the ring. Wake your ass up, Lesnar told Robinson. Cena crawled inside the ring now. Lesnar stood on Cena's hand. He picked up the chain and threw it to ringside. Cena went for the Attitude Adjustment again. Brock avoided it. Lesnar hit the F5 and knocked out Robinson again in the process. Lesnar went for the cover, and the second referee ran out to make the count. When Cena kicked out at 2, Lesnar beat up the other referee. Cole reminded viewers that Lesnar can't be punished because of what John Laurinaitis agreed to. Additional referees ran out to ringside. Lesnar brought a piece of the ring steps into the ring and stood on the top of them. Cole said he was the king of the mountain. Cena recovered and went after Lesnar, who put him in an arm bar. Cena teased tapping out. The dueling Cena chant started again. Cena powered to his feet, and with his arms still in a hold, and slammed Lesnar into the steps. Cena went to the top rope, went for the leg drop, but Lesnar rolled out of the way. Brock acted a bit weary and looked around for Cena, who ended up on the floor. Lesnar stood on the ring steps in the middle of the ring and struck a fighter's pose again and performed a dance. Cena stood on the ring apron. Brock ran the ropes and used the stairs as a springboard while going for an elbow. Cena moves, and both tumbled to the floor. Lesnar landed awkwardly and came up holding his knee. Seconds later, he was back on his feet and acting as cocky as ever. Brock went for the same move again. Cena stuck him with a chain this time, and Cena fans popped huge as Cena fired up. The announcers pointed out that Lesnar was also bleeding. Lesnar struggled to get to his feet. Cena hoisted him up and performed the attitude adjustment on the ring steps. Cena covered Lesnar on the steps for the 1-2-3. And the hold that the Brock had put on him on an arm bar type of move was a Kimura lock. Well, John Cena pinned Brock Lesnar in 17 minutes 45 seconds. Big surprise, after the match, the referee checked on Cena, who appeared to tell him, "My left arm is effed up." Cena looked frustrated, and he held his arm at his side, and he sat up on the ring steps as they were still in the middle of the ring. The announcers replayed the footage. Cena is still the face of WWE, Cole said. Cena stood on the steps, holding his arm up in the air, and saluted to the fans. There was a good arm, but his left arm couldn't move. "I may be taking a vacation," he says, "but I love you guys." Cena says, well, he looked into the camera and asked how his mom how he looks. "I'm still in one piece, and my arm is all messed up," Cena said. Then Cena took a seat on the steps. Then he's quoted by saying, I'm probably going to get some heat, get sent home for speaking when I'm not supposed to, but I'm probably going home anyways." Cena said something about how his boss would probably like to send him home anyways. Cena said he hopes that this was airing on TV, and he said he knows Chicago is CM Punk's hometown, but it's a wrestling town first and foremost. He told the fans he might have to take a vacation, but he wouldn't go away. He wouldn't go out any other way. That was one hell of a match. It was a physical match. The most physical match I've ever seen, with Lesnar crushing Cena with so much of his offense. I hate to finish that it takes away a lot of Lesnar's monster mystique, and ends that Cena losing his mojo story so prematurely. I guess the story will become how Cena won the battle, but Lesnar won the war because of Cena's injury. As for the injury, it looked to me that he was selling the arm bar. The fact that they say was Cena's promo and caught so much of what he was telling the referees left me assuming it's part of a story that they are telling. I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. Overall, it's a great pay-per-view. Big three matches delivered in a huge way, and Lesnar versus Cena was so much better. And I expected it to be, despite my hatred of the finish. Because it was, okay, one move, it's over. And that's the end of my report for the pay-per-view of Extreme Rules 2012. Thanks for viewing, and Raw will be later on tonight.